Well, hello, and welcome to our weekly book discussion of Invitation to a Journey. We have been on this journey for quite a while. This is week 7. We're looking at chapters 10 and 11 in the book. And it's in these chapters. I don't know what jumped out at you. Actually, I'd love to hear what jumped out at you. You can put that in the comments below. But what jumped out at me is this whole discussion of the body. And Mulholland kind of focuses us in on what Paul is saying in Romans when he's talking about this body of sin that's kind of at war within us. And it's something that we struggle with every day. We struggle with our hurts, our habits, our hang-ups, stuff from the past, things that we've said or done. And it's not like when we come to faith that, boom, everything shifts, everything changes. Now it can. God can work those miracles, but for the majority of us, it's part of this natural process, this growing in faith, this being formed in the image of Christ for the sake of others. And God continues to work in us, and he continues to work through us. And what Mulholland talks about is this thing that he continues to use these spiritual disciplines to raise our deadness into life, our brokenness into wholeness, he says, and to form us into Christ's image for the sake of others. And as we go through this process, as we discover these personal spiritual disciplines, as we talked about in chapters previously of how we're all wired up differently, and that looks different for each one of us. But as we do that, this change begins to happen in us gradually, where that body of sin begins to decrease and the image of Christ in our lives begins to increase, and we don't even realize it's happening. It's the Holy Spirit working in us and the Holy Spirit working through us. But as we go through this process, Mulholland points out in both of these chapters that we really need each other. I need you as much as you need me in this whole process of to hold each other accountable, to encourage one another, to just kind of be there with one another and for one another. It's in chapter 11, he kind of shifts and looks at 3 specific spiritual disciplines, this idea of silence, solitude, and prayer. Now, silence is that just kind of letting go of control, letting go of the noise in my mind and the noise in the world around me. I've actually read another book where it talks about being still and that whole movie reel that constantly plays in, I don't know about your head, but in my head, just to silence it and just be and just let go and allow God to do what God is going to do. That whole idea of solitude is just kind of facing ourselves, sitting alone with ourselves. We know we've learned this pandemic, we don't like to be alone. We don't like isolation, but sometimes in our spiritual disciplines, it's good to be alone, to sit with God, but knowing that we're not alone, that God is present with us, and then offering up prayer, giving it up to God, allowing God to form us and to make us and to mold us. It's constantly praying that prayer, Lord, free me from care for myself. Being in silence with the Lord, being in solitude with God, and allowing him to form us in and through these disciplines as he continues to decrease, to kill the body of sin within us, and to increase his image, not just for ourselves, but for the sake of others. So I hope you've enjoyed these last couple chapters, and we're nearing the end of our book, and I'm looking forward to our in-person discussion on December 4th. Well, hopefully we'll see you there. All right, thanks.